G'day folks, in this video I'll show you how you can solve the crazy unicorn Mars. This puzzle, being a Mars puzzle, it has three faces which are one faces in a row. So the yellow, the green, and the white, all of those faces, those center parts turn with the outer collar, and they're all in a row. And therefore the other three faces, where am I looking? Orange, blue, red, they are all zero faces. And you can see those center parts stay fixed. Now this Mars is definitely up there as one of the hardest. If not the hardest, it's certainly in the top 2 or 3 of the crazy unicorn planets. And so I'm excited to be sharing this and showing exactly how you can solve it. So the very first thing that we want to do is orient all the faces. So the blue, orange, and red do not need orienting because those center parts cannot turn, but the green, the white, and the yellow certainly do. And so what we've got to look for is, because that is correct, we want all faces pointing to the same corner. So that green is pointing to that corner as well. That means the yellow must be turned. We also want to look at the white. Now, initially, the white is not quite as important because we won't need to worry about that until we place some of these lower pieces here. So for now, I can probably leave the white as it is and just remember to do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is to place the side pieces on the orange, blue, and red faces. I'm going to do that by hopefully finding them in the white face area. And when I say side pieces, you can see, in fact, that there's 2 orange pieces here, the top one and the bottom one there. It's the top one that I'm looking at. This piece that belongs right next to this strange central shaped thing. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagon of some kind. It sits right next to it. So this one does not sit next to it. It sits just on the edge of it, or the corner of it there. So the pieces we're looking for are that one there. And in fact, this one happens to be already in as well. So not deliberate, but there you go. We will certainly see how to do it with the ones that are not, because the blue and the red are not in. So the first thing that I'll look for is to see, are those pieces on the white face? So I'm not looking for that sort of piece, or no oranges anyway, but that's the wrong type. That is the correct type. And you'll know that it's the correct type because it'll sit flush with that central piece. So let's have a look, see if we can find a blue. There's no blues on the bottom. There are some reds. So we'll just firstly see, is that the piece that needs to turn up to there? You can turn it up, and because we have not yet done the yellow face and don't need to do it at the moment, we can turn it up as long as we've not already done the opposite piece. So we have done the opposite piece. So instead of simply turning it up, I want to turn the white face around, bring its position down, put it on, and undo. So importantly, I'm not trying to place both of those pieces. It's just that top one that I care about. Now, there's no other reds on the bottom. There's no blues. So I've got to go hunting elsewhere. They could be up here. There's a blue up here and a red. So I would check this red, and I note that it does turn down into that face. So I can put it on the other side, turn it up to the yellow face, bring it on, and undo. The blue, for now, I can at least see if it is the correct one just by rotating the yellow face, turning it down. Yeah, that does go. So I don't want to disrupt this yellow face, but again, I can turn that position up, put it on, and return the yellow face to the correct orientation. Now, I do have another blue up there, but it's clearly not going to go in that orbit. It's going to be that lower piece there. So got these blues here. That does happen to be the correct one for that. So again, I can turn it off and place that. So I should have the 2 oranges, the 2 blues, and I've now got the 2 reds. Now, it's unusual that they would just all be fairly simple like that. So I will just show exactly what we would do if they weren't there. for example, if the orange piece I needed was up here, what I would need to do, because I can't turn that piece on the red face, so I would need to bring it across to the green face and then perhaps move it down to the white so I could use it, something like that. But you're going to see a fair bit of that now anyway. So we've got the side pieces. I've kept that yellow face oriented. What I want to do now is place the upper and lower pieces on the red, blue and orange faces. And for this, I certainly do want to orient my white face now. And I will be doing that using the green face initially. So I'm going to place the lower pieces first, and I'll be using the green face and an upper turn. So let's first of all see if we can find an appropriate piece. There is a red piece up here, and I can see that if I turn it round like that, that will actually place. Now you might say, why don't I just leave it like that? And at this stage, I certainly could do that. Did I have a blue one done? I did have a blue one done. So let's not leave it like that. I'll keep that blue there. Oh, in actual fact, it doesn't really matter because I'm not doing those ones now anyway. So I'm going to use that red piece, and I did say it would be to place it on the bottom part first. So what I need to do is move the bottom position across to the green face. This is the one that's going to turn the pieces onto each other. And the piece that I was trying to place was this red one. So I'm now going to turn the position up, put the piece on, undo, undo. And that will make sure the orientation of the yellow face stays correct. I'll put that white face turned back as well, and the red piece there is done. I want to do the blue and the orange. So I do have a blue here. So the easiest way is to turn the position across to the green face and now go and grab that blue piece by turning the green face and the yellow face. So cycling 1, 2, 3 pieces. Like that. And then put its position back. That blue piece is done and the red piece is still done. Next, we want to look at the orange. Now that's not an appropriate piece. Do I have any others up the top? I do have an orange there that I could use. Now I haven't done the top yet, so I can freely turn the orange where I want it. What I want to do is turn the base of the orange across to here. And there's the piece I want. So I'll turn the position up, put the piece on, undo, undo. And now rotate the position back. I've got the orange, the blue and the red done. Those side pieces are still also done. You notice I haven't worried about the green at all yet. I still don't want to worry about the green. I want to check that everything is still correctly oriented, which it is. And I now want to do the upper pieces on the orange, blue and red face. So let's see, I've got a red here, that upper piece, and that does belong there. So again, I want to use the green face. That's where I'm going. That's where the piece is. So what I can do here, just to do it in stages, is initially put the red over onto the green with a 3 cycle. That's the piece I want. I can now say 1, 2, 3 and place the red over there. That red piece is now in and the entire red center is complete. Let's see, do we have an orange or blue up here? I don't think we do. So the orange and the blue piece that I need are going to be elsewhere. There is, no, there's not. That's the side piece. So where are they? Let's look for the orange. There's a couple of oranges up here. In fact, one that is the correct one, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the appropriate piece because that will then turn around to that position. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Well, I need to get that orange piece firstly across to the green face. So what I would do here is I actually want it on the top or bottom. I don't want to use the sides at all. So I'm going to move the top piece to there as a setup. That's where I want my orange piece to go. And I can now collect it from that yellow face. Like so. That orange piece is there. Undo that setup. Now, let's check that everything we had done is still done. The reds are there. Yes, yes. So that's all good. So once again, I've now got the orange piece on there. That's where it's going. So 1, 2, 3. And our orange center is complete. What's the last one we need? The blue. Well, there's no blue pieces up there, so I'm guessing it's going to be down here. And there's the base. Yes, that's the one. So once again, I've got to get this onto the green face first into one of these positions. So let's say I put it into this position. I can turn its position around, put on the piece, undo, undo. There's my blue piece ready to be placed into that position. So again, using the green face, turn the position onto the green face, turn the piece around, undo, undo. The reason for all the undos is to bring all these pieces back that we had already done. So the orange, the blue, and the red faces are now all done. Okay, the next thing to do in this stage is to do the yellow, green, and white pieces. And what I like to do is to do the up and down of each face as I'm looking at it like this first. So I would initially find a yellow piece that belongs up here. And this one, for example, if I turn it up to there, I can see it does not go here. So it's definitely going to go to the top. So all I need to do is position, piece on, undo, undo. Again, very important to undo all the setup moves. That yellow's on. Is there another one? There's one there. It'll go to there. It'll go to there. So that's not the correct one. There's one here. That will be the correct one for that region there. So again, I can turn its position around, put the piece on, undo, undo. Alrighty. Got the two yellows. I want the two greens. I've got one there already. Let's find the other green. Looks as though it might be here. Is it? No, that's the side piece of the green. So the other one must be this piece. So I will turn its position around, put the green piece on, undo, undo. Two greens are done. What about the whites? Not yet. There's one of the whites which can go there. So I'll just use this as a side face for my third piece. And just note that while I'm doing this, none of the blue, orange, and red parts that we've done are coming out. Okay, there's the other piece which belongs here. So I can do exactly the same thing I think I just did. Push that off, turn the position, undo, undo. And I've now got the top and bottom parts of each of those faces. Now it's time to get the side pieces. Okay, so this is now just 180 turns on the faces all the time. So let's see, can we get yellows first? Yes, I'll just move a yellow up there. 180, undo, undo. This yellow goes to there. So again, I could use the green face here. So the yellow face is now done. That green face is done. Miraculously, the white face is done as well. It's pretty unusual. That is what we are aiming for, and it's no real harder than that at all. So at this point, we have all the faces correctly oriented, and we have all the four center parts around that central piece done. Now, we're not quite back to shape yet because you can see that it's starting to form that shape, but we've got stuff like this going on. And that means that the next stage of this solve is to place the correct outer edge bases. Now, when I talk about the outer edge bases, I'm going to start with the white-green because I always do that first. There is a white circle base and a green circle base. There is also a white-green outer edge base. That is what I'm trying to place there. Now, the stipulation is that I cannot use the white, green, or yellow faces when I do my 3-cycle to place it. I can only use the red, blue, and orange faces, and this is partly where this puzzle becomes quite difficult. So, ordinarily, I would look at this and say there's a white, green here. I'd actually like to flip it over to there, and let's say I went down, down, up, up. It's in, but you'll notice straight away that a lot of stuff has become unsettled here on these faces. So that, and that, well, all the work we just did has been undone. So that's no good. Let me undo that. And that is precisely the reason why I cannot turn the green face or the white face or the yellow face. So instead of that, let's do something like initially get this piece down to the bottom somewhere. So I can do that any way I like. I'll just make sure that I turn, say, the blue and orange faces to do it. Bring that up, put it on, undo, undo. And because I've only turned those faces, you'll notice that all of those inner circle parts we've done come back. Now, the next thing, to place that white green, what I need to be able to do is probably a couple of setups here. And again, I can't just sort of move this under and say, oh, now I can, well, hang on, it's certainly not under the green anyway. I can't turn it up because that would be involving that green face, which is no good. So I've got to think, how do I get that position around somewhere that it's going to be useful? Well, I know that that is the white of the white green. So if I turn that down as a setup, and I want the white of the white green to go there, I can also turn this up to there. And I know that when I turn that orange face, the white will go into its correct position. So all I need now is one other piece to involve. That piece will do fine. That piece over there would be okay as well. So let's just use these three pieces, and I can now cycle that white green into its position. Okay, that is done. We'll undo the setup move. So that was the first one we have to undo, and then that was the second one. And what you'll see is that now that has been placed, but none of the circle pieces we did have been disrupted. Okay, so the white green is done. Let's have a look, see if there's another white piece. I've got a white orange here. Any on the bottom? I do have a white red. So I could turn that white red in a similar manner, could turn that up like that, and it's positioned down, and that white will go across to here as long as I just turn the blue and the red faces. Okay, so undoing, that was the first one, that was the second. The white red has been placed. The white blue is placed. I don't know if it already was or not. I think it might have been. So we come to the white orange, which is over here. Now, I can certainly turn the orange face. I can't turn the yellow or the green. So really, I want to get that white orange over to the other side if I can, over near here somewhere. So what I'll do initially is just put it down on that position. No idea if it's nicely oriented or not, but I want it near here. Now, it happens that I can turn that down, put the white orange on, and then undo, undo. And that places that white orange piece. And so if you like, your white cross is now done. All the circle pieces are still done. So I'm going to next go and place 3 of these middle layer edges, and specifically the 2 green ones, because they are the ones that are a little bit trickier because I can't turn that green face. So what I need to do is have the green orange up on the top face with the green on the top. So at the moment it's not on the top, and I can get it on the top by flipping it over, just doing a down, down, up, up, like that, because I can always move this face as a setup when I need to. Okay. Now, again, ordinarily, I would do something like bring that up, turn it on, undo, undo. But it mucks up all these pieces. So I'm not going to do that. I want to move this green-orange around to there as if I was going to do that. Again, ordinarily, I might go down, down, up, up, but it mucks up all the pieces. So what am I going to do? Well, I want to turn this onto that position. So I will just do one more setup to put it there. And now I can use this blue face to cycle the green orange into place. That's done. When I undo that little setup, that has been placed into its position. And I, of course, can then turn the yellow face back to where it belongs. In the same way, I want the green red to be done and I want the green to be on top. It's not yet, so let's flip it over. Now, once again, let's move it around into that position, but then turn it over here with an extra setup so that I can cycle it where it belongs. It's done. Undo that extra setup, put the yellow face back, and the green red is done. So I now want one of these as well. The blue red can be cycled around to here, so that looks pretty good. I can then use that piece on by turning the red face as well. So that one is done, and that now leaves me a fourth one, which I can use to start placing these edges, and specifically the back two. Now you'll notice, having done this, that when I get them all done, I can now turn corners, and that is the goal here. That's what I mean by, correct shape of the puzzle. The top is not yet done. Okay, let's see what goes where. Yellow, green belongs here. Now for this, I can do a setup and cycle the yellow, green into that position by turning the blue and the orange face only. When I undo the setup, that is placed. The yellow red goes there. Where is it? Down here. Now, if I turn it to here, I can then cycle it home that way. And turn it back. Now, at this point, we are going to have one of a number of things happen. I guess it's possible that the remaining three could be solved. It's never happened for me. They could be flipped in place, two of them. There could be a 3 cycle, or we could have something like this where we've actually got a swap of 2 edges. We've also got flips going on, but we'll deal with those flips right at the end. The end of this stage, not at the end of the solve. So what I need to deal with first is the swap of 2 of these edge bases. And the way that I must do this is to turn the orange, blue, or red face one turn and then resolve these circle parts. I'm going to turn the blue face. The reason that I cannot turn the yellow face and resolve is because it changes the orientation of that yellow center. Whereas if I turn the blue face, that stays fixed, and so it's totally fine. Okay, so I'm going to turn, as I said, the blue face one turn. That's fixed the problem. Now I need to replace these circle parts, and I'm going to replace the white one first. That white has got to go up to the red there. And I'm specifically wanting to use the yellow face to do that. So white going to the red, and I'm going to just do it one setup turn here to get it into this position on the yellow face, which will enable me to actually turn things around. So if I didn't do that setup and tried to cycle things, nothing's going to move inside the circle. Okay, so just stepping back a bit, that's where we were. We've got 2 swapped edges. I do that to fix the problem. And now in order to get the white to that position, I do one setup, and I'm going to cycle yellow to white to red first of all. I will undo my setup, and you'll see that white has now been placed back in its position. It's a good thing. Okay, what's next? I've got to get the orange back to that position. So let's cycle this to this to this. Okay, that's done. I've also got a red that has to go back to here. And so this time I can cycle that yellow across to here, the red across to here, and that yellow back to there. Now what's important is that all of the circle parts are now redone, even if the outer edge parts are not. So we've fixed that problem, we've fixed up the circle parts. Now let's continue where we were with the edge bases. All of the whites are still done. Those two greens are still done. That's done. Let's come back to the top here and say I've got to get the yellow green in place. The yellow red's already in place. Okay, so the yellow green is over here and I want it to go to that position. I cannot turn the yellow face. So what I'll do is firstly flip it over to there so it's green, yellow. Then I will do a setup like that and flip it over again so it's yellow, green. I'll undo my setup. That is now in position. Now remember that we started this little thing with a swap of two edges. Let's see what we've got now. The orange blue is going to here, the yellow blue is going to here, the yellow orange is going to here. So now we have a 3 cycle. Now, this 3 cycle is extremely unlikely to be such that you can get it finished by just doing a down, down, up, up with the orange and blue faces. And we certainly cannot in this case. So I look and see what has to go where. And I note that the yellow blue needs to go to that position. So the yellow blue goes to the yellow orange, goes to the orange blue. And it's really key that I kind of remember, even if it means writing it down, that order of things. Yellow blue to yellow orange to orange blue. Now, what I'm going to have to do is set these pieces up so that I can use only the orange and blue faces when I do it. So I'm just going to turn it around because the first setup move that I can do is that. Now because remember what I was trying to do is go yellow blue to yellow orange was the first set of pieces and then to orange blue. So if I turn it up like that, now I've got yellow blue to yellow orange. This is my first part of my down, down, up, up that I want to perform. Now, if you remember, what was the third piece? Yellow blue to yellow orange to orange blue. So once I've done this, yellow blue to yellow orange, I need orange blue because the yellow goes to the orange of the orange blue. Now, unfortunately, the orange is here, so I can't just turn it up. I need the orange piece to be there before I start. I can, however, do whatever setup moves I want. So what I will do is turn it along the bottom face and then cycle it up to that position. Now I have yellow blue to yellow orange to orange blue. I now know that I can carry out that 3 cycle using the blue and the orange faces, which are 0 faces, and it will fix the issue, well, not fix, but it'll solve the pieces. So I'm going to do that. That's done. What I must do now is undo the setup moves in the reverse order. So I had to place that piece up to there from here. So I turned this face and then this face. So to undo that, I'll do that. Then I had to turn the down face. And finally, if I remember, that was the turn I did. Now what you'll notice is that everything has come back beautifully. And in fact, those things have been solved. And all the corners are turnable and all of the edge bases are placed in position with their circle edge bases. Now I do want to show what you would do if you ended up with 2 edges flipped in place. Okay, and here we have this piece is solved, but the yellow orange is flipped in place and the yellow blue is flipped in place. Now, what we would normally do is the following. I would just do a down, down, up, up, and then I would turn the position across, bring this up onto the position, undo, undo. And you can see that the outer edge bases have certainly been flipped, but the problem is the circle parts have also been disrupted. So I'm going to undo that and just consider what we might do instead. Well, the first thing is I have to get these out of the flip and into a 3 cycle. So to do that, I will initially do a down, down, up, up. Now, from here, what I need to do is think just like the scenario we had earlier. We really have a 3 cycle here. And I've got to go yellow blue to orange blue to yellow orange. I've got to work out a way to get the pieces cycling in that manner. So the first thing I would do would be to say, if yellow blue's got to go to orange blue, I could turn the orange down to there and the yellow across to there. Now the yellow blue goes to the orange blue. That's the first turn. The yellow of the yellow orange must be here. The easiest way I can see to do that, and so far, what are the setups that I've done? If I consider this, R prime, U prime, I believe. So if I undo them, that's where the pieces were. So R prime, U prime are my first two. Now I'm going to have to move this out the way, put that to there, and then bring them all back. So there are 5 setup moves there, and you certainly may end up needing to write them down in order to remember them. So now that that's ready, I've got yellow blue turning to orange blue turning to yellow orange, and I'm doing it on these faces. I'm now ready to carry out the 3 cycle. Okay, now I've got to undo those setups. I had to move these out the way first, then I brought that one back and then put that one there. And I think finally I moved that one over and put that one back. And you can see once again, those last 3 have been solved. So that's the sort of method you'd use to approach a flip of 2 edge bases. The next stage of the solve is to solve the triangles. It's pretty quick, and I can only move triangles around on the white, green, and yellow faces. So the orange, blue, and reds have to be done first, and I just need to look and see where they are. I can see there's a blue over here, there's a red here. I'm going to have to move the red up to the yellow face first, and then I can move it around and place it there. Now that blue, I actually want to go back to that direction. So I'm going to turn it onto the yellow face so that it can now be placed onto its position. So the blue's done. I think I had a red somewhere else as well. So where's the other red? There's another red. Now there's a blue here which belongs in that position. Okay, blue face is done, red face is done. Got a couple of oranges to do. So I can't turn that one on because it will not turn around. I'll need to turn it off, put its position there and undo. And here's another orange on a face that I can turn. Okay, so that's the orange, blue, and red. Now I'm just left with white, green, and yellow. So I go ahead, place them in whatever order I want. Okay, and they are done. You can see that's fairly straightforward. And the last thing here, this green face, you can see that some of the circle bases have come out. They haven't really come out. It's just, for whatever reason, we had a turn there that I haven't undone when I was doing the triangles. So I'll just put that back. Now what we're going to do now is solve the corners very briefly, just the white corners, to check for a single twisted corner. And I'm going to do this just using the corner piece series, and it doesn't matter the orientation of the white corners. I just want to get the white corners into their correct position. So I'm going to go and solve white, blue, red goes to here. What's this one? White, blue, orange. That's great. That'll come across the back. That'll come down to there. And it doesn't matter which faces I turn. So those 2 are in position. The white, orange, green has to go to here. And this other white, green, red has to go across to here. So I will do one setup and cycle those 3 pieces. I can tell I've done a setup because it doesn't look right. Okay, so the whites are in position. The yellows, doesn't matter if they're in position or not. I just want to now count basically how many twists I am correct or not correct. So anything that's correctly oriented is fine. This has been twisted anti-clockwise, another anti-clockwise, and a third anti-clockwise. So that is totally fine because any corner that's, or if I have overall 3 anti-clockwise twists, that is the same as 0. And you can kind of see that if I start with the white here on the left face, I go 1, 2, 3, comes back to where it was. So the white face is totally fine. What about the yellow face? Well, these two are opposite. So that's got a twist, or that has twisted anti-clockwise, that has twisted clockwise, so they cancel out. These two, this is twisted clockwise, this is twisted clockwise. So overall, I am 1 too many twists clockwise. And so I need to undo that by twisting one of the corners. Let's have a think about it. I actually think it's going to be like that. Let's just check. I can see that that is correct now because the white face hasn't changed. That's still fine. Now I've got clockwise, anti-clockwise, they cancel out. Clockwise, anti-clockwise, they cancel out. So that has fixed the problem. I just need to re-solve the triangles. And I'm going to solve the triangles on the blue and the orange face first. And I guess when I say first, I mean it's the only real method that you can do because you have to use the yellow face to do it. And that automatically solves that yellow face again. Okay, now that has moved corners around, but if you look at what's happened, now we've got a clockwise, a clockwise, a clockwise. They all cancel out and that is all fine. So we will not get a single twisted corner near the end. Now the next stage is a fairly major stage, or it's a long stage, and we're going to solve the remaining circle pieces. So on the green face, that blue, white, blue, oh, hang on. There we go, that's better. Blue, white, red, and orange piece, they all need to be solved. Now, the way we're going to do this is we're going to use the white face and a 0 face for some face turns, and we can use any corner turns up here that we want to use. I'm going to begin by solving the yellow pieces. So I would initially just look and see, are there any yellow pieces around the top or the upper region? There is one sitting here. That, when I think about where that turns, it travels to there. So what I would do is say it's going to come across from here. So that is the yellow position that I want to put that yellow piece in. And I consider the direction of my 3 pieces. I want orange to go to red, then red to go to here, and then that yellow to come back to the orange. So because the orange is going to the red first, I'm going to do my face turns first, then my corner turn. Here's what I do. Just 3 cycle that across to there, then turn my corner turn to put that yellow piece up into position. Then I undo my face turns. Now, if my first set of face turns were white, red, then to undo it, I've got to go red, white, white. To undo that corner turn, I do that, and I'm finished except for this setup move where I put that yellow part up the top. And you can see that yellow piece has now been done. Now, as I look around, there's no more yellow pieces up the top anyway, which is a little unusual, but there it is. So I kind of have to get them all out of these lower sections. Now, in doing this, I'm going to show you exactly how to do each part, because I would normally do the bottom, then this section, and then the uppers. So I'll do one of these lower sections and then one of those sections and then an upper. You'll have all you need to know. Let's say that we want to get this yellow out of here and solve it with an orange. What I would do is firstly turn it to that bottom part there and then move that up to the top. That is the yellow piece which I want to become orange. Well, there's an orange there. So I'm going to cycle the orange across to the yellow and then replace that with anything else, either that red piece or this blue piece down here. I could also, if I want, use this white piece, which will turn up to there, or this white piece, which will turn up to there. So I might actually use this white piece to turn first. Then, because I'm going the orange across to here, I need to bring this yellow piece across to that position. Okay, so we're going to turn the white piece up. Now I need to move the yellow across to there. I cannot turn the white face and the green face, so therefore I need to turn the blue face and the white face. So the pieces that I'm cycling are actually going to be these to there, these to here, and these down to there. So I'll turn blue, white, blue, white. Now I undo my corner turn. How do I remember? That orange triangle must go back here. Undo my corner turn. Now undo my face turns, which will be white, blue, white, blue. Now, we've placed that orange piece into there, and you remember that came from the bottom, and the reason it came from the bottom was because we were actually trying to fill that position. So that is now done, and importantly, it's freed up a yellow piece up here for us to take care of later. Okay, let's have a look at a piece in this position. Same sort of thing. I would turn it down to this region on the bottom face and then turn that up to the top. Now that's the piece that I'm trying to replace with a blue. So I've got to say, is there some blue that I can use that is in this region? Well, that's not a blue. That's not. That's not. However, there is a blue sitting here that I could happily use, and I don't need to preserve that top part yet because I can easily do it later on. So I'm going to cycle the blue to the yellow to the white. So I'll turn the corner first. Now I need to get the white across there. I'm going to undo that corner turn. And undo the face turns. And then when that's done, of course, I can return that to the bottom, turn that blue back up into position, and that has been solved. And of course, I think it's taken out another yellow, which is good as well. So that's how you do the bottom, the lower, that part. You can see that the upper parts are going to be basically the same. Just for fun, I'll do one of these upper sections. So for example, let's have a look. I've got, I could place this green into that position if I wanted, white to yellow to green. So I'll turn the white up there first. Then I've got to get the green across to there, but not turn that green face. So I'll be turning blue and then white. Undo that corner turn. White, blue. Okay, and you can see that green is in. So that is the sort of thing we are doing. I'm going to continue working through these until they are all done. Okay, well you can see that every face has the entire circle done now. So we're only dealing with the outer parts from here. There's only 2 more piece types to go. What we want to do now is solve these edge arrows. And again, I want to try and take care of this green face if I can, because it's surrounded by these one faces and itself, it is a one face. So it's a little trickier sometimes to get things done. So I would look for the green white or the green yellow and just see if it's easy enough to do. I cannot turn yellow, green or white faces when I'm doing this, by the way. So what I'm going to be doing is essentially the same as what I just did. I'm going to be doing a corner turn and then some face turns. The difference is I must only turn orange, blue and red faces. So that's why it's a little bit trickier to see, or sometimes to set things up. Let's have a look here first of all. I've got the green orange, which I'm looking to go there. Now, across here are some faces, and this is going to work out nicely. So I'm going to cycle the green yellow to here, the green white to here, and the green orange up into position. So because, again, that piece movement is this piece to here, it's across the face, I'll do the face turns first. So I'm going to turn orange, blue, orange, blue. Then I'm going to move that third piece into position and undo the face turns. And then undo the corner turn. You can see that has cycled in, but importantly, none of the circle parts have been touched. That's what happens when we do this algorithm on orange, blue, and red faces only. So the green orange is in. What about the green yellow? That's now down here. And one thing I could potentially do, and I certainly can do setups here, I'm going to move the position of the green yellow down to there, which will now possibly allow me to use these faces to place the green yellow into there. So let's see what I've got. I could move the red blue to the green yellow to that position. I think I will do that. Now, if I'm going to do the red blue over to here, what I will do initially is say, how do I get that red blue to there by turning, can't turn those faces, so I will have to do another setup of that green face to put it here so I can just turn these two faces. One of the things about this Mars puzzle. So I've done two setup moves. They're pretty straightforward to undo. Now I can be thinking, right, I've got to move the red blue across to here and then turn that one onto position. Because the piece movement is red, blue to green, yellow up to here. That's why I'm thinking that. Okay, so here we go. Face turns. Then I want to involve that third piece by turning the corner. Then I undo the face turns. And then I undo that corner turn, which puts that green, yellow where it belongs. Now I'll undo that setup move, and I'll come and undo this setup move, which will place the green yellow exactly where I wanted it. Okay, here's the green red opposite where it belongs. That's going to be really nice. I will cycle blue yellow to green red to yellow orange. So that means I first want to turn the corner. Then I want to replace that with this piece by turning the red and the blue face. Then I'm going to undo that corner turn, then undo my face turns. Okay, that one's in. So I've got 3 greens so far, which is really good. Where's the other one? Down there, green, white, which is probably the most important one in some senses. Let's see how we can do this. Be nice to cycle things along the orange, blue, and red face. Now, I might have to do this in 2 stages. So I can't actually just do one setup turn like that of 90 degrees. My setups really need to be 180. Otherwise, the whole structure ends up being that I cannot turn corners when I need to. So for this one, I would initially think, what if I put it over there? Does that actually help at all? It may. I've just got to see. The green white wants to go there, but again, I can't turn that yellow face at all. So what I would be looking at potentially is something where I turn it across to there and involve something here. So I would like to get this green white piece somehow over to this line, maybe to one of those positions there first. Let's see if I can put it onto this position. Okay, so I'm not even trying to get something done. I just want to put the green white onto that position. I'm going to turn the blue and the orange faces, then turn that on, and it'll come back to here. Okay, that should now be in a better position for what we're trying to do. Let's see. the green, white. If I now do a setup to put its position there, okay, beautiful. Now I can do blue, yellow to white, green to blue, orange and turn the blue and red faces. That's brilliant. Okay. Undo. And I did have one set up, which was to put that back. So that is probably the hardest one, and that's why. So all the greens are done, which is great. I can kind of now just do whatever I need to do. That's what normally happens. Let's see. I've got a yellow blue, which could go to here. So I could quite happily turn that position down and now involve one of these and get the yellow blue over there. So I notice that this is blue white. So if I use this white red, I can go white red to here. The yellow blue will solve and the blue white will come back here and solve as well. I like the sound of that. Okay, that's done. That white blue has solved. Now, I just said that I was solving yellow-blue, but it's actually the yellow-red position. So that's how stupid I am. At least I got the blue-white done. Let's see if I can actually solve something I mean to. The yellow-blue belongs there. The blue-red belongs there. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do a setup here and I'm going to move the blue-yellow across to this position, but I don't want to just turn it 180 because it knocks out this one, which I would like to be in here, I think. Let's just see if I do want that to be in here. No, I don't even know that I do. Or do I want to do that at all? Possibly not. Let's just have another little think. The white red, is that something that's easy enough to do? Yes, it is. Let's go for that. So I can turn this one down here. I'm going to cycle blue red to there, white red to there, and the orange yellow back to here. That will be good. So firstly, the face turns. Then my corner turn, undo the face turns, and undo the corner turn. So you can see the actual move is not too hard. It's just these setups and keeping in your head what you've got to put where. I've only got, by the look of it, 3 to go if I'm right here. Yellow, red, yellow, blue, yellow, orange. Okay, so again, I might be doing some setups here. We'll see. I've got to get the yellow, blue. Yep, this will work. So I'm going to, or will it? I've got to make sure, actually, that I'm using, say, the red and the blue faces. And that is not necessarily obvious. If I turn that and then I turn that, is it doable? That is the red yellow position. Okay, so blue yellow is going to turn here, which is actually that position. So I want to move blue yellow to orange yellow to red yellow like that. So to get the blue yellow across to here, I need to turn the blue face, then the red face. Then I involve my third piece, undo my face turns, undo my corner turn, undo this setup, undo this setup, and you can see that all of the edge arrows are solved. So as I said, not too hard to do, just the setups and getting pieces where you want is the tricky bit. The great news now is that we are right near the end. We are just going to cycle home the corners using the corner piece series, and it doesn't matter which faces we turn. Those two are in. Well, all of these are in position but flipped. So let's just take them out of position. See if that helps us. That does help us. So I'll just cycle the blue, white, red home first. White, orange, green can go down to there. You can solve corners however you like. I'll just use the corner piece series myself. And we have a final 3 cycle, and brilliantly, I didn't do it, it just happened. They are all in exactly the perfect configuration that I need to cycle them home. Not sure that's ever happened before, but there you go. That is the Crazy Unicorn Mars. Now, of course, we did not get a single twisted corner because we took care of that earlier. But there it is. As I said at the start, it's a challenging cube. It's certainly up there in terms of difficulty due to a few things through the solve. But I certainly hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.